Yes, indeed. That is absolutely correct. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I am Pastor John McClain. And what he did not mention is I'm here with, I believe in myself's own, Andreas Ruiz. I am his co-host. He is my co-host, and we are here to host a show. Thank you for being here. And we have another great show for him. What do you say?
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what unravels today out of this interview. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's going to, as you can imagine, and our radio listeners know, it's going to be something good. We had a great show last week with Dr. J with Make Money, not to be confused with Show Me the Money.
Show Me the Money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a great show. And then today's show, we have another great guest. We have the Grand Poobah, the head Poobah of NorthStar Hyperbaric and NorthStar Neurology in Satin West, the lady that runs the shop over there and kind of makes sure that everybody gets where they need to get. I like what the air traffic controller. Is that a fair assessment? Would you say, Satin?
That seems pretty fair to me.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we have her in studio, and she'll get the second half of the show. But like usual on this Common Good Radio Show, we give it up to the Almighty first and foremost, and we're going to go ahead and start it off this week with one of my favorites. I know one of Andreas's favorite, the Serenity Prayer, and it goes a little something like this. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, taking, as Jesus did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. I love it. Every time it gets me stoked up. That's the way you start a show.
Yeah, man.
I don't know why everybody doesn't start a show that way, but that's my little gift that I'll just have.
It's good stuff, man.
So on this week's Pastor John's Verse of the Week, we're going to do a double punch, and we're going to go once again with 1 Corinthians 13:13. And we love this one so much. I know Andreas can probably almost sing it along with me because it's it's such a familiar and beautiful verse. But again, those who are following along at home, that's 1 Corinthians 13:13. If you want to get out your travel Bible or throw up Google and you want to read along, and it goes like said. So now faith, hope, and love abide, these three. But the greatest of these is love.
Mm-hmm.
So we do very many love verses and love quotes and a lot of talking about love, self-love in particular, and that connection with God and through it. And once again, we do another one. So I extend to you, radio listeners, to allow this verse to ruminate on you and think about it. What does it mean to you? And, apply it in your life the best that you possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
So also on this week's verse of the week, I wanted to share with you guys, and we don't really feel like I do it enough, whether it's my book or Andreas's book, the goodness that we have in our life, and the lessons that we've learned in our lives that we want to share with you. And today, I'm gonna share with you a little chapter out of my book, Dear Alyssa: How to Guide to Social Change, and the first chapter. It is the chapter about being a soldier. So definitely, in writing this, it was something I wanted to share with my children or share with anybody who wanted to join the military. Things to consider. And here's a little short story that I'll start it out off with. When the planes hit on 9/11, I felt it was my duty as an American to join the Army. I was a wee lad of 18 years old, impressionable as all get out, yet I felt like I had it figured out. On that fateful day of September 11th, 2001, I was waking up in my one-bedroom apartment in Tucson, Arizona, and wiping the cobwebs out of my eyes as I turned on the TV to catch the news that seemed like that of an action movie. Immediately, I was stopped dead in my tracks as I flopped square and center on the couch to take in what was nearly impossible to believe. I was watching two planes crashing into the matching buildings out in New York City, and I didn't know what to make of it. I wasn't around during Pearl Harbor time, so I didn't even think to consider this was an attack from a foreign party. I initially assumed it was some level of malfunction in some way. I was 18. What did I know? More and more news was coming out, and as the days dripped by, the consensus was this was an attack from a foreign power, particularly from the Middle Eastern area. This is a very controversial topic, so I'll not get us bogged down in that part of the story. I will instead move you along to how I felt about and reacted to the information that I was exposed to at the time. I had just moved to Tucson from Chandler, Arizona, a few months after graduating high school. I was working some level of crappy McJob to pay my rent and bills. I soon came to the conclusion that I would serve myself, my family, and my community best at this point if I were to serve my country. I certainly recommend that you never join the military if you feel like you can find that drive, passion, and discipline necessary to thrive in the civilian world within yourself. But I knew very little about structure, discipline, integrity, honor, and pride before I joined the Army. And I would argue I may never learned those things in the way I have if it wasn't for the Army. I remember the day I called my dad and told him I wanted to join the Army. I heard the skeptical sound in his voice as he retraced the times I had fought the idea of joining the military my entire life. This was a major reason for our falling out following my graduation from high school. However, he informed me he would be at my apartment first thing in the morning to take me to a recruiter. My dad picked me up the next morning, and as I sat in the car, he had a hopeful look on his face. I was almost a bit scared because I hadn't really seen this look on my dad's face before. We started heading to the recruiter's office, and my dad started to give me the rundown, as he had hundreds of times before throughout my life. But this time, it was for all the marbles. We arrived at the recruiter's office, and my dad went charging in the door as if we were both signing up together. He made his presence known before the person at the front desk pointed to the chairs and prompted us to have a seat and waited to be called. We took a seat, and soon one of the recruiters came up to us and called us back to his cubicle office. He was extremely nice, like a car salesman who was selling a job, which I didn't know what to make of, but I was already there, so I figured I might as well listen to what he had to say. I went through my rundown with him, telling him I wanted to do this job and I wanted to be stationed there. I wanted those type of accommodations, and he said, yes, you'll get all that. That was all I needed to hear, and I was ready to sign on the dotted line in a hurried wait for the next step in my life as an Army soldier. A week later, I met with the recruiter at his office in Tucson in southern Arizona and took the 2-hour drive to the military entrance process station in Phoenix. Most of the ride with the recruiter was just about sports and his upbringing, pretty much anything but what I was about to experience. So that was the first chapter of Dear Alyssa, How-To Guide to Social Change. Definitely you guys can find that on Amazon if you'd like. All the proceeds from this book go to our tiny house village and homeless veteran transition center named Veteran Rescue Mission. We definitely encourage you, go to veteranrescuemission.org to donate or to see what we're into so you can volunteer or support us any way you can. We definitely appreciate you listening to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McClain. I'm here with Andreas Ruiz. You'll get to hear more from him right after these commercial breaks. Thank you for listening.
Welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show. I am your coach and speaker, Andres Ruiz, alongside my good buddy here, Pastor John McClain. And today I have a very special motivational tip of the week, you want to call it, and it is about energy. And so
Nice.
I think that in order for us to inspire other people, inspire ourselves, we need energy.
Mm.
And I'll tell a quick story here. I went to Lowe's, what was it, about 2, 3 weeks ago. And then I saw this woman there who had the most amazing energy. I could just see her, and I mean, I could watch her all day. She was just really funny. She had on a really funny hat for Christmas and all that. And she had some cute shoes. They were really funny. And she just had this amazing energy. You know, when you meet somebody, when you're just like, man, this person has something special. She had that something special. And so when I saw her, I could see that everybody was saying, hey, what's up? How you doing, Marilyn? How's it going, Marilyn? Hey, Marilyn. Everybody, even customers, already knew her name. And I this woman, I had never seen her at Lowe's before. And then I went up to her, and then I thought it was my purpose to tell her something nice about her, because I just saw the energy, and I told her, you know, you have a gift. And she said, oh, really? What is that? And I said, you have amazing energy.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, you think so? And I say, oh yeah. You, like, as soon as I walked up to you, you were saying, hey, what's up, sweetie? How you doing? And how's it going? And how are you feeling today? And she was just really just starting a conversation. And I felt really cool with her. And I told her, that's a gift you have. You know that, right? And she said, I just try to make my customers happy. And I said, but let's be honest, how many people do you see walking around with that energy like you do? And he said, I guess, well, not too many. And I said, yeah, for the most part, you watch people, they're walking, I hate to say this, sometimes half dead. And to see somebody like this, I felt like I had to tell her, hey, man, your energy is amazing. And she was really grateful for it. I even gave her one of my bracelets, the I Believe in Myself bracelet. She's like, oh my God, thank you so much. This is so nice of you. And we just talked for a little bit. And she was like, you made my day. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And how many times do we do that, really, every day? And during our week, do we ever tell somebody, hey, you know, you have something special, like, you're amazing? And imagine if we would have a world where people would say more things like that, where you see somebody and you're telling them, man, you have great energy. Wow, that's really cool. No, for the most part, people are bagging on each other. They're putting people on blast. I even remember one time I was hanging out with some friends, some grown men. I'm talking like 40, 50, 60-year-olds. And then this guy, he was in his about 47. I was like, hey, man, how old are you? And he said, I'm 47. Man, you look pretty good for your age. You look like you're in your 30s. And then the other guys were like, oh, he likes him. He likes him. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, grown men, you know, like, you're still 16 or what's going on here? But he was kind of even like, whoa, really? You think I look pretty good? Or like, yeah, man, you look all right. I'm a man. I mean, I can compliment a good looking man. I don't think it's a big deal. But there's a lot of men who think, oh man, he must be something else. You know what I'm saying? Just because of that. But imagine if all these men, these grown men, who you can tell that they kind of have a lot of hurt and pain from probably just, they've been beaten by life for so many years, just told all this stuff about, come on, man up, or, you know, oh, why are you saying that? Or why are you so happy? Especially in high school, man, when we're growing up, if you're that's excited guy just with all this energy, you're probably looked at as like, hey, tone it down, man. That's a little too much energy, bro. You got to be cool. You got to keep it like this. You know, man, what's up, man? What's going on? That was me. I was that punk kid, and I was always trying to be cool. And then you would see that cool kid, that kid that has so much energy. Hey, tone it down, homie. Tone it down. Take it easy. And then that person who had a lot of energy would tone it down because of us. And then eventually he would hang out with us, and he would turn into us. Just these cool-looking zombies. And that kid had all that energy. And now we're grown people, and we still act like those zombies. We still act like half-dead people. And just look around you, man. About 90% of the people probably half dead, you know? And it's unfortunate because when did we stop being kids? When did we stop acting like kids? When did we stop dancing and singing and doing all this stuff? And so what I want to talk about today is the 4 things that either give you energy or drain your energy. And I just want you to really think about these 4 things in your life. So the first one is the places that we go to. You could go to a job you hate, or go with those relatives that drain your energy. Just the other day, I hung out with some relatives. Man, they drained my energy. I allowed them to drain my energy, but, you know, I learned from it. I told myself, okay, well, next time, I'll approach this a little bit different. But there's places that we go to sometimes with relatives or friends that they drain our energy. And so if you're going to a place that you're just draining your energy, how can you add more places that give you energy? Maybe you can go hiking, maybe you can go on a retreat, maybe you can join a club where maybe people actually think like you rather than just being around the same people who are doing the same thing over and over again. So that's the first one. The second one is your habits. Your habits are huge. You could eat a lot of unhealthy foods, drink a lot of sugary foods or drinks or whatever, and you can have low energy. And then, but at the same time, you can drink a healthy green juice and maybe eat healthy and have more energy. So your habits are the second thing that either gives you energy or drains your energy. And then the final two, I think, are the biggest ones, and that's the people that you're around. Because man, there's some energy vampires out there. Let's keep it real. We have some people that drain our energy or that give us energy. Like me and you, when we hang out, we have pretty good energy. Mm-hmm. We feel great. We feel amazing. But then there's some people there that in life that drain our energy. And sometimes, unfortunately, it's our family and friends. And what we have to do is we have to set a boundary and let them know how they make us feel. And if they can't respect that, then maybe it's time to maybe eliminate them. Or I know it sounds pretty bad, but
you're not talking about kill them, right?
Yeah, no, not kill them.
Kill
them.
Okay.
Eliminate them from get away from them, because these energy vampires will consume you. Or you can just maybe reduce it to, hey, I'll see this person once a week, once a month or something like that. Mm-hmm. Reduce that time. But I've had people who told me, hey, man, but their family, they disrespect me, but their family, well, they should actually respect you even more, man, because they're family. But some people, they just can't do that. They can't just get away from their family. And I understand that. And then the final one is our thoughts. So our thoughts, they can make us well and they can make us sick. And I don't know if you knew this, but we think 50 to 70,000 thoughts per day. That's 3,000 thoughts per hour. And your mind, it's like a land. In the land, if you plant a seed of apples, it will give you apples, which is good for you. You plant a seed of nightshade, which is venom, it will give you venom. The land doesn't care what you planted it. It will return venom in just a wonderful abundance as it will apples. And that's how your mind works. Plant a seed of positivity, you'll be positive. Plant a seed of negativity, you'll be negative. It's that simple, but sometimes we make it more complicated than what it really is. So what I want to ask everyone today is that out of these four things, what can you eliminate that is draining your energy, and what can you add more into your life that will give you energy? Because energy is life. And if you don't have energy, you cannot perform at 100% professionally or personally. So that's my tip of the week. And if anybody's interested in doing something new with their life, maybe you're tired, maybe you're bored, maybe you plateaued, maybe you're burnt out, maybe you're tired of doing the same thing over and over again, I would like to invite you and give you a free session for the first 3 listeners so I can help you create a strategy for that big vision you desire, so you can also eliminate the fear that is stopping you from attaining that vision, and so you can pursue that goal, that dream that you've always been desiring, and ultimately find your life's purpose. So send me a request at Facebook, Andres Ruiz, or you can go to IBelieveInMyself.org, and you can also send me a message there. Also, just to let you know, I will be having a Legacy Coaching Academy starting in January. So if you want to make a side income as a life coach and eventually become a full-time coach,
and welcome back again and again and again. Here we are. I am your boy, your friend, your neighbor, Pastor John McClain. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission, and I am sitting right next to the Batman to my Superman, as we established earlier in this show.
I'm Batman.
Yep. Andreas Ruiz of I Believe in Myself. So if you need life coaching in your life, or you would like to be a life coaching, he's the man that you'd want to talk to.
Yes.
Yep. And then, as I promised you earlier in the show, I would never lie to you, my beautiful radio listeners. We have Satin West. Yes, the Satin West in studio with us, the administrative lead, the lead medical assistant, the commandeer of NorthStar Hyperbaric, NorthStar Neurology, in studio with me. I know you're saying at home, I can't believe it, but it's true. Thank you for being in studio with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And me and Satin have been Facebook friends for a really long time, but you radio listeners, you guys are just new friends of ours. So we will bring you into our friendship, and we'll start that with having Satin explain to all of us What is NorthStar Hyperbaric and NorthStar Neurology? What is it exactly?
So we are an alternative clinic that was
Okay.
founded by Dr. Carol Henricks about 16 years ago. We kind of take the alternative approach to full body healing versus pharmaceutical Band-Aid solutions.
Okay. So what type of services does that entail?
There's a lot of things that we do. It's kind of hard to point out everything in one time frame, but the hyperbaric oxygen is our big go-to for all of our veterans.
Okay.
It's a way of healing the body, the brain with oxygen under pressure. We do ultrasound therapies, pulsed electromagnetic field. We have the infrared sauna. We have
nice.
Dr. Marshall. He's our neurotoxicologist, pharmacologist. He does nutritional biochemistry. We have IV infusions. I mean, there's just a whole lot of things that we do to heal the body as a whole.
That's wild. Yeah. I was aware of the oxygen treatment, and I've heard a couple of the other names of the treatments. Obviously, I'm not, even close to in the medical field, so I have no idea of this jargon. But like you're saying, it seems like there's a laundry list of different services you guys provide.
Oh, yeah.
It may be a whole entire show just listing off what those different services are and what they entail. That's pretty cool. So what can like a veteran who's coming in there, because I know we're particularly veterans and first responders are who you guys service. Yeah. So what can they expect when they come in for like initial treatment?
So you come in and you spend about an hour with Dr. Henricks. She'll kind of go over your time in the service, things that you've been through, IED, mortar fire, trying to think of what else. So if you are a post 9/11 combat vet, she'll have you fill out the Healing Arizona Veterans application to see if you qualify for sponsorship. If you do, there's no out-of-pocket cost
Nice.
for the vet. So the initial 40 treatments is covered. They'll meet with Dr. Sexton, who is also in the service. He was a medic. He's an incredible man. He decides ultimately who is sponsored. We get their DD-214s. There's a lot that kind of goes into it. But at the end of the day, it's probably one of the best things these guys can do for themselves.
That's amazing how
for the
it takes 40 treatments, you said?
So 40 treatments is like the initial. If we feel that there's still some healing that needs to be done, then they can do 20 more. Usually they'll hit 100 before.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And we were talking about on break, I had one of the guys that went through our program, actually kind of the cool backstory. I don't know if I even told this story. A while back, Dr. Carol Henricks reached out to me and said, hey, we have this guy that lives in Virginia who needs a place to stay while he gets treatment here, because he's real low budget, probably living off of Social Security. And, is it okay can he stay at your program? And our program, it's just, it's a 6-month program. It's primarily to transition people into housing. Usually they only stay maybe a month or two, just enough time for me to get them placed into housing. So this was very untraditional for me, but I certainly wanted him to get this treatment. And I certainly, Dr. Carroll's giving me a call asking for assistance for somebody. I wanted to, give him assistance. So he came and he stayed at our property and got treatment at Dr. Carroll's. And I want to think he did the initial 40, I don't know, I want to say in 6 months, something of that nature. And then he ended up continuing, getting treatment. This guy kind of had, a lot of, brain trauma or trauma to the head over his life. And it was amazing to see, what it did in his life and just how smooth the process was for him. And I guess kind of like that being the success story I have to share. What are some of the success stories that you've seen in your time?
So that's kind of hard to pick. There's been I mean, every person that comes in, to be honest, is a success story. You know, we can't guarantee or promise that they're going to, you know, go back to their typical self. But we try to get them back to a baseline. You know, people who come in that have had like burn pit exposure, like I said, the mortar, they've taken fire, the IEDs, they come in and they have so many different issues that they're struggling with daily, you know, anxiety, depression. I mean, I hate this, but the suicidal thoughts, you know, and we see that a lot. But one in particular that sits with me, he actually works for us now.
Oh, wow.
And he came to us very lost. He was homeless, didn't trust anybody, wouldn't make eye contact. Anytime his phone would ring, it would just startle him and it would send him into a panic. And like I said, now after his treatments, he works for us. He talks to patients. He answers phones.
Nice.
I mean, he's a completely different person.
That's cool.
That's
from the
beautiful.
time that he started with us till now.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
man, that's beautiful.
Well, great. Well, for that and more beautiful stories, you guys continue to listen in. After this break, we will continue to speak with Satin West with NorthStar Hyperbaric, NorthStar Neurology. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Definitely go to veteranrescuemission.org for more information. We also are looking for donations of cars, RVs, and any unused vehicles you have. We certainly have lots of vets that need vehicles, as well as we certainly need all the help we can use in our homeless veteran transition program. Thank you again. We'll be right back. Every time it does, it's cool listening with Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I like that. That smooth music, it gets me every single time. I am your friend, Pastor John McClain. With me is my friend, Andreas Ruiz, with I Believe in Myself. And in studio is our friend, Satin West, with NorthStar Hyperbaric, NorthStar Neurology. And we were talking fixing the brain before we left. Yeah, I think we just made talking about the brain fun.
Oh, yeah, it is fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely.
For those, I know there's somebody at home right now listening, clapping their hands, excited,
Clapping their brain.
Yeah, clapping their brain like good
No,
job.
go ahead.
I love you, brain. I love you.
So, you're saying during the break there was a particular type of treatment that NorthStar Hyperbaric does that you were excited about, and if you didn't mention, you felt like you would be that the public would be missing out. What?
Yes.
Please tell us.
So during the evaluation with Dr. Hendricks, we fill out some information and send over to Simon Med.
Okay.
The only location here in Arizona actually that does an MRI DTI of the brain is our Orange Grove location. But what it is, it's not your typical MRI. They do it as a typical MRI first, but then they go over it with fiber tracking. And it's a really colorful image. I wish, the viewers could see, but this is actually what an MRI DTI looks like.
Okay. So those who want to see
wow.
this image, go to kvoi.com. Listening on Sunday, are you watching on Sunday? Or go to YouTube, actually, to the KVOI YouTube page, and you can see the image of what she's showing.
A rainbow too, maybe.
Yeah, cool picture.
So it's on our website as well. So
cool.
NorthStarHBOT.com.
Okay.
They can kind of go on there, read about this as well. So it'll explain to them what it is, how it works.
Okay.
Cool.
So it is a 45-minute MRI as usual. But all of these are called fiber tracks. And a lot of the times there will be very little here. So it's not a real colorful image like this. And when this stuff is missing, that's how we know that there's some damage. And Dr. Hendricks can say like, okay, it's the backside of the brain. This is what, it will affect, whether it be your sleep-wake cycle, that type of thing. And then after a year, we can go back in and do a secondary image and kind of compare the two and see, how much change there has been. Also, Dr. Dowdell, she is our neurofeedback therapist, and after our vets have completed their treatment protocol that Dr. Hendricks recommends, they can go sit down with her, and she helps to basically train the brain to have more positive thoughts using a computer. It's fabulous. You know,
It's wild.
these
That sounds like some
veterans,
futuristic stuff
it
right
kind of
now.
is.
Yeah.
So she's a clinical therapist, and basically what she's doing is training them to rebalance the brain's neurochemistry and form new positive pathways.
Wow.
Okay.
That's really cool.
It is.
It's amazing.
It's awesome to see these guys come out of there after doing the oxygen treatments, the neurofeedback, you know, after meeting with Dr. Marshall and going over all their nutritional stuff, with supplements, etc. They're completely different people by the end of this.
That's beautiful.
That's wild. And you get to see that just over and over and over again.
Every day. It's such an amazing thing to be a part of. And to see these guys, you know, go from struggling to not struggling quite like they were. You know, after the things that these guys go through, you know, over in Iraq or Afghanistan or, you know, wherever they may have been, they have a brotherhood there, and then they come back and things aren't quite the same. So that in itself is a struggle, and that's something that I see when they come in. But when they come to our clinic, they have that brotherhood again. You know, they have their brothers there treating with them, which is awesome because they have someone else to talk to and to confide in. And two of the guys that are our staff members that are our veterans that treated with us, you know, they're there to support them and see them through from beginning to end, which is awesome too.
Yeah, so it seems like just having that community amongst them as veterans, they know each other. It helps alongside with the treatment.
Absolutely. You know, we all become a family there.
That's really cool.
You know, one of our guys that's currently treating, he's actually active duty, so he's not a veteran per se yet. But he told me the other day when I was talking to him that he wanted to feel better without taking multiple pills daily, and that's what we do. And you know, we don't mask any of the issues that are happening with these guys. You know, we're kind of a one-stop shop. You come in and we want to address everything as a whole, not just a brain injury, but you know, Dr. Marshall sends out for blood work if there's something, let's say their vitamin D levels are low or their B12 or hormones are off, that can, you know, play a huge role in the brain issues as well. So we want to treat everything that they got going, but we don't want to do it by throwing medications at them. You know, we're very different than a VA appointment. You know, you go in and you see multiple doctors, you have multiple visits, you see multiple specialists. With us, you come in, you see Dr. Henricks, you see Dr. Marshall, you see Carol Ann, our IV infusion nurse, and then you see Dr. Dowdell and me every day, which is obviously a bonus.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm teasing.
Love it.
Yeah, so I'd say, like, if you could, which you know, unfortunately you don't get this luxury, but if you could tell someone that's coming to get treatment before they come what to expect, like what would you tell them?
Our team is completely vested in their health. We want to, I hate to say it this way, but kind of at the end of the day, like, we don't want you to come back. You know, you know, we want you to come see us. I know the hardest part of the whole thing is just coming through our doors. You know, most of these guys say, well, you know, my brother needs it more than I do. No, no, they don't. You need it too. Yeah. And if there's someone that you want to refer, you know, because you think you don't deserve it, like, refer them and come with them and do it with them. You know, that's awesome. But we want you to have a different quality of life by the end of what we do, you know, by the end of the treatment, so that they can go back out into the world and feel better about themselves and what they're doing and know that they can do it with, you know, 100% capability. You know, when they first come to us, like I said, there's a lot of struggles. So if we can even eliminate just a few of those, by the time they leave, you know, we feel like we've at least done something, and they always come back, which is a beautiful thing because I'm excited to see them.
Well, I imagine they would, just because you can see that it works. But I mean, you're absolutely correct about this thing us veterans have. I mean, even myself, I'm a combat veteran, so I'm about as stubborn as they come sometimes. Yeah. And myself, I struggled for years getting the resources and getting the services that I need because of that stubbornness. And now, I guess it's God's bitter joke on me now, because now I face that same thing, trying to help other veterans get that help, whether it's housing or getting connected with their disability or even getting them to see Dr. Carroll.
We help them with that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's great. It's great, one, that you say that, and it's great to see that there's other forces like Dr. Henricks and like NorthStar, Hyperbaric, and the plethora of, I think, like Dr. Carroll likes to say, the opposite of the VA type organizations that are here to step up and that are taking this. This number that the VA put out in 2015, 22 veterans committing suicide a day, serious, and realizing if we don't step up and do something,
it's just going to get worse.
Yeah, it's just going to get worse. No one's going to do anything. So it's beautiful what you guys are doing. So how does a vet get involved with NorthStar, Hyperbaric, and NorthStar Neurology?
So there's the website. They can go to the website, northstarhbot.com.
Okay.
There's information there they can fill out, and then one of the advocates over at Healing Arizona Veterans will reach out, most likely Sod. He'll reach out and talk to them. He'll put them in touch with Dr. Sexton, and they'll kind of go from there. They can call the office. Our office phone number is 520-229-1238. That's my direct line. They can talk to me.
Say it one more time.
520-229-1238.
Yeah. That's the money right there. So you got to make sure they hear that one.
Also, Healing Arizona Veterans phone number, that is 520-229-2122. That's a really important phone number for them to have, because that's kind of where it all begins.
Let's say it double time on that one too.
All right, 520-229-2122.
And that's Healing Arizona Veterans, for those veterans that are out there that post 9/11 veterans want to get that paid for you for the low price of free. Yes. That's the group that will do that. And those who want to catch this show later, go to kvoi.com. You'll be able to catch the podcast there. Also, if you go to YouTube on the KV and put in KVOI in that pretty little search box, you will pop up and you'll get to see our show there, as well as on the Andreas Ruiz Facebook page, on the Common Good Radio Show Facebook page, on the Veteran Rescue Mission Facebook page. I believe there's probably I Believe in Myself Facebook page. And in studio, we have a PJ McCardle, is the appropriate way to say his name, with PJ McCardle Productions here, videotaping the show today, and hopefully real soon we'll be able to provide a TV version of said Common Good Radio Show. Next week we have Dr. J on the show, the author of Making College Come